Hello there, welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here.
Hi!
Forever.
Who are you again? You don't know this, but I haven't seen these guys for like a month and a half because I was traveling, I was on the road, and then we were like distanced from each other for a period of time, and now we can responsibly come together and I can say, oh my god, that luscious beard.
And we can say the same!
That's true. That's true. Whatever the case, today we're going to be doing a unboxing of the prototype Primal the Awakening, and if you hear beasts barking in the background, we will be slaughtering them.
It's the miniatures.
It's thematic.
We will be slaughtering them for their body parts to convert them into weapons that we can utilize for other hunts in the future at some point.
Yes.
Whatever the case,
Let's do
we
it.
diving
Yes.
in?
Yep. Okay. All right. No, sure.
I mean, you can go ahead.
All right.
Sure.
I'll do it. I'll take
He
the
was
honors.
literally trying to do this before we turned on the... No, shush, 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 shush.
I can't do it. I did it earlier.
That is a shame.
This box is.
Yeah.
You need to work out, Max.
Oh, there I found it. I broke the
did you
seal.
figure it out?
I broke the seal.
I mean,
I'm working on it.
Can you open it?
I'm working on it.
Could you open it?
I'm trying to make it thematic.
This was
okay?
supposed to be a short video,
If
right?
you're
All right, well.
if you're not familiar with what this is, Primal the Awakening is going to be another big campaign-style boss battler. So we're going to be, well, you described it pretty accurately.
It's Monster Hunter, the board game, essentially.
It is genuinely going to be one of these games where you leave off with your heroes, you upgrade and equip, you hunt creatures that are varied and different, you take body parts and bones and resources back to not only provide for your settlement, but also craft and utilize gear.
It's got that new game smell. Too.
I kept the right box.
It does have that prototype smell. You kept the miniatures box.
I'll tell you what, you're going to be disappointed when you open it, because everything's covered.
Hand me that knife over there, because I do not have fingernails to rip these open.
Where is that? Oh, there it is.
And while you start messing with those miniatures, let me just talk very quickly through what we have here. So on the top, we're going to have two different locations, the Alchemist and the Fireforge. You'll notice the familiarity when it comes to games like KDM and things that convert resources into items. So there's going to be an upgraded path here that is apparently pretty interesting. We also have our various heroes.
Incredible.
We have Dargon, the Great Sword, Mariah, the Great Bow, Thoreg, the Hammer, and Lonar, the Sword and Shield. There is flavor text on here. We will dive into that at the very end of this video. Look at this artwork.
Is very nice.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
It's very reminiscent of Monster
Beautiful.
Hunter.
It is.
And I love that.
It has that medieval, both primal sort of like as if we grew up around creatures and beasts that were larger in scale than anything we actually have in human society.
I really like that
Speaking
artwork.
of those creatures and beasts,
Toramant.
we have the Vraxen and the Toramant. We'll read the flavor text on that. Actually, you want to go ahead and do a little bit of flavor text on this?
Sure.
And don't
He's been
don't
practicing
shy away
for
from
weeks.
showing off that.
Ooh, fancy little art. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
He's been reading in front of a mirror for the last few weeks.
It's true, I have. I've been practicing. I was working on my vocalizations on the way up, actually. Toramant. Over the years, during their secular life, a Toramant carapace can harden to become almost invulnerable to any element in Thyria.
Except for my knife. And then the Vraxen. We'll show off this artwork here.
Beautiful.
Liquid fire flows through Vraxen's veins. It is the blood of the Wultar, father of all dragons.
Very cool.
I like
Nice.
the guy standing in front of it.
The tiny.
Yeah. He's like, I got you.
So while you're still working to get miniatures out, and be careful because these will be prototype resin miniatures. So if you break any of them, it's not my fault.
It's Max's fault.
Darkest Dungeon.
So sitting here is going to be this is the hunt board, which you might think looks a little strange because it doesn't have hexagonal patterns.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a grid where you're actually fighting. Instead, your beast goes here in the center. Terrain are actually tokens that you're placing around this environment, and your characters are on this outer ring, positioning themselves, engaging with various fronts and backs, and the beast is going to be spinning kind of like a dial here.
Okay.
Facing each opponent.
Facing various opponents, reacting with an AI deck system. So instead of like a gridded system that you're moving around, it's supposed to be a slightly more accessible and more centralized, like boss-style system.
Yeah.
While still, and I have to play it to see how this works, but the promise is that it's still going to keep the flavor of a, terrain adventure, a high and low ground, a position yourself like on the back of the beast.
But just staying in the same spot.
But all staying in the same area, as if the terrain is moving around you, as opposed to you moving around the terrain in the board. These are going to be some of the tokens that'll be utilized for that. Things like plants and resources, sand and desert. Speaking of beasts, are you going to share it with the class?
I was about to say, come on. Be gentle with it, but Come on, share.
This must be the Varaxin, right?
Show and tell.
That is sick.
Yeah, it's gotta be. That is
Yeah, he looks like
quite
the Varaxin,
attractive.
I am so scared of breaking this thing.
Yeah,
So
be
that
careful.
thing,
It's massive.
it is massive. So that thing's going to be right there in the center.
Sure.
These are the terrain items that you'll see that'll get,
Populate
set
the
up
board.
around.
Mhm.
If it's setting the landscape on fire, you'll see that each environment will adjust
Okay.
based off of the creature you're fighting. And then you have a lot of other status effects and things in here as well.
Lots of cards.
You want to
for the
start
different
digging
weapons.
into some of these weapons? So
Sure.
each of our characters, these are going to be our character decks. Each of our characters are going to have their own unique class and progression model. So as you're playing through, you'll be upgrading, equipping, and gaining new skill sets that are unique to the character or the role that you're playing. Along with that, you'll have a whole variety of weapons, armor, and other items and gear
Upgrades and-
that you can use to upgrade your
Totally.
own personal character. So, you got another thing in there?
So many.
We have-
I just
Gear.
like that there's gonna be like a Sean cam that's just him struggling with bubble wrap.
So these
Look,
are
look,
the
it's layers upon layers.
monster attacks. Okay,
So
I'm
these-
seeing a little bit how they think this
Exactly.
is. Okay.
So these are going to be like location attacks, status attacks that will affect this board
Right, okay.
off of where, and it's always going to be based off of where this creature is
It's
facing.
facing, sure.
So if it's twisting or turning or anything like that, you're going to be positioning accordingly. We also have other statuses here, like when a behavior card is triggered, players in the front sector reveal a diamond card from their hand or suffer 1 damage. So status effects, reaction cards, just an AI deck system. Which, again, I don't know much about, but once I start playing it, I will be able to dive in and see. I'm really curious to see how thematic this can be when it supplements this static position with a...
Ooh, that's more weighty than I anticipated.
It is. Well, these are resin. So these are prototype resin,
Right.
which is probably 3D printed in some form.
Sure.
The final ones will probably have either a combination of resin and plastic for the core game. Maybe some collectors will be able to get painter models.
Interesting.
Okay.
But yeah,
Very cool looking though. There's a quest right there on top.
Threat from the Abyss quest. A tide wave has recently flooded the coast of Spikes. Many monsters, including some huge krokons, are dangerously approaching the villages in the island close to the river delta. An expedition is needed to repel and push back the sea.
Push them back to the sea.
Exactly.
You know.
Just
Something
like
like
Jesse
that.
said.
I read confidently.
I know, and you do a good job at reading
Thank you.
confidently, just not a good job at reading.
Check out that guy's
Oh,
axe hammer.
That
Nice.
hammer is amazing. That's
So
got to
as-
be our boy, whatever his name is
Yeah,
over
let's
here.
see. As you pull him out,
Thorjar?
go ahead
Is that it?
and read that flavor text on that hammer. This is Quackalope. We will spend time on flavor text.
Thoreg. You play a war drum, setting the pace of the hunt. The hammer blows sound like thunders, announcing the upcoming storm of swords and blood. All right, so it's a hunting horn from Monster Hunter, where you can play music too.
Quest number 2 in the prototype here. Quakes at the Red Spears. An expedition to the Red Spear in the rocky desert of Haras aims to save a group of explorers being victim to the recent earthquakes in the region. Some specimen of Tormat have been spotted in that area after the quakes, making it dangerous to accomplish the rescue. So this is how we're heading out, adventuring into the landscape
Totally.
and encountering. Now, I'm curious how that adventure portion of this goes as well.
Yes.
I want to see the narrative story
I
come
like
through.
that it's different.
It is.
That's what I was
well,
gonna say.
And here's my thing. Like everyone's comparing. I can't shy away from. Everyone's comparing this to my baby. Like this is a Kingdom Death genre game, and
Yeah.
I am an advocate that
And I
Kingdom
don't know if
Death.
that's fair, having seen it now.
It's its own.
I'm an advocate that Kingdom Death established its own genre of games. The question now is, how are you different?
Right.
How do you establish yourself in that world? And what do you do that expands upon that flavor?
Which this, honestly, having seen
This guy's awesome.
makes me more excited for the game. I don't know how
different.
it's going to play, and I hope it plays well, but as someone who has Kingdom Death, who's backed Aeon Trespass Odyssey, this is different.
Yeah.
And I want to see how that works. If it were just the same, at that point in time, you're comparing flavor and art to deciding
That's-
what you want.
That's my thing as well.
It's different.
I am very hesitant to give anyone a notch on the back of KDM unless they do something unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You're changing the system up. I still have to see how the story works. I still have to see how gear and everything progresses. But I like what I'm seeing right
I
now.
do too.
Yeah.
I really want to know how it plays now.
Tiny little. I mean, we've got the prototype. You realize that's possible.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, what a shame that I'm not going to play it with you. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
You're going to read the flavor text for
I've got-
Mariah there.
Yeah, this is
Oh, man.
Myra. Measure and think fast. You may fail. one arrow and let the death feasting with all of us. Or you may strike at the heart of the beast instead, trapping death within the monster's soul.
How do we say this guy's name?
Lonjar.
Yolnar?
Yolnar.
Yolnar. Shields are the bastions against the untamed wilderness. Your comrades' moves will be as confident as your thrusts, and their metal will be as solid as your defense.
Nice. That's a
Very
ridiculous
interesting.
shield.
That is a massive
Yeah.
shield.
And-
It's absurd. In a good way. In a good way.
We can flip this over to show you as well. This is supposed to be a fairly simple system as well. You don't see the gear grid or anything in the
Right.
same way. You have item slots down to the side here. You have weapon slots that are going to pop in there. You have your head and you have your armor.
Yep.
Outside of that, it's going to come down to your like specialized character deck, the skills and abilities you have, and then how you're responding and reacting to the creature that you're hunting. If it's accessible, if it's easy to get to the table,
I'm actually more
Totally.
into this than I was, knowing that it's different and it looks more accessible. Obviously, I need to see how it plays,
Sure.
but I'm more interested now having seen this.
I mean, you were as into this as you're into me, so
which is a lot.
substantially.
Yeah.
Totally invested from the get-go.
What do you have?
Got Darian. Says, a great sword is about momentum and balance. And this guy does have a great sword.
Oh, God, it's huge. Yeah.
Let your weight and that of your weapon become one.
I do like that, like,
I like how that's the mouth of the dragon with like...
that is cool.
It's cool.
Well,
Right.
it's also
Like the parts
it's
of the dragon.
talking about the great sword, but also like it's that Monster Hunter style. You are the weapon you're wielding.
Become one.
Like you're coming into the village, and that is the great sword.
You can see the detail in the miniature. The dragon mouth going into the sword.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Absolutely can.
Absolutely.
The miniatures are nice.
That's
Now
cool.
again, these are resin prototypes,
Sure.
so they will probably the details and stuff will shift a little bit
Sure.
between this and the final production copy. But I mean, I got to be honest, everything looks like stuff that could be accurately produced and recreated.
I like
yeah.
that he carries a shield, but he doesn't care. He just keeps it on his back.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
Why would you? I've got some weapons here. Got the great sword,
Ooh.
some beautiful blades, some crazy bows there. Here's the hammers. It looks like these are how you can upgrade your specific
Right,
character
yeah.
class. And there's some fairly intense shields here as well. And then finally, let's just
actual
pop
action
one of
decks.
these action decks open. Not to really understand what's happening, but let's just flip through
Just
them
see
real
what they
quick.
look like.
See what they look like.
Cool. So this hammer's like charging up Burning Stone. When you empty your hand, place a counter on this card. Remove 2 counters to deal 4 additional damage. So
Oh,
it's, like,
nice.
heating up
Okay.
for a big blow. It's cool.
So this is going to be a character deck for, it looks like the Great Sword here, and Coordinated Assault. Choose any ally to discard a blue card in order to deal 2 damage and replace 1 behavior card in play.
Okay.
So controlling the board a little bit, working together with your team.
Yeah, cool.
Double slash, deal 3 additional damage if you have maybe a red card triggered.
I quite like the card art. It's simple.
It is, yeah, but it's
Effective.
It's easy to read. It's effective. Deflect. Search your deck for a card with a slash trait and add it to your hand. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to have deck construction or deck building
sure.
to some degree. Deck construction, I think, would probably be the
Yeah,
accurate
probably
term.
the best way to describe
As
it.
you're progressing, and you're going to be able to customize your character based off of some various different. And there's some wound cards.
Yeah.
After you draw this card from your deck, discard it immediately. So you're going to be able to take some damage and.
Gonna clog
hit
up your
along the
deck
way.
probably. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything in there.
Whatever the case, that is going to be an unboxing of Primal, The Awakening. We are guaranteed to have some gameplay coverage, some preview coverage and stuff as we approach that Kickstarter date in January. So hit that subscribe button down below. Get excited for our thoughts around this game. I'm interested.
Yes.
I have to say, I want you there with me because there's part of me that's like,
And maybe I could come too.
maybe. But he's so bought into the Monster Hunter idea
True.
that I want that counterbalance
Sure.
to like the hesitation on my side from a Kingdom Death fan.
I'm hesitant too because I'm a Kingdom Death fan as well. But
I've
it's
played
showing
Kingdom
me
Death once, so
enough.
sort of a
It's
thing.
showing me enough differences that I
just
really
ex-
think I'm excited to see how it actually plays and how accessible and still
the
fun
new
it
new
is.
way of playing it totally has me pulled in. I want to
Yeah.
I'm
give it a
intrigued.
try.
And can I just mention, this takes up so little table space right now.
Right.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
sure the
yeah.
core is going to be bigger,
Yeah.
but even if it's like bigger,
Oh.
this is kind of nice.
This
Yeah.
is very normal board game size table space right now.
I just got for a giant miniatures game. I don't mind this.
Yes.
All that being said, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, hit that subscribe button down below. Leave a comment letting me know which one should get to play this game. And whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and kill some monsters. We'll see you next time. Thank you.